Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. I think I scored on this purchase. If you guys have been following the channel for a while, you know that I do a lot of Fords, a lot of Ford Mustangs, a lot of F-150s, and a lot of Ford Escapes. I would say those are the three vehicles that I purchase the most and most frequently. But lately I've been buying up a whole bunch of different stuff. But in this video, I went back to a Ford Escape, an older Ford Escape. And here it is. It's an 05, 03, 04, something like that. It is super filthy. It is very dirty. I got it at Copart. I picked it up here locally at Copart a few days ago. 2 days ago, I believe. And I was going to take a video of the pickup. I had the camera with me, but I had such a terrible day. I mean, I've encountered so many unpleasant people that day that it was one of those put your head down and just get it done type of deal. I didn't even want to record anything. I didn't want any negativity to come through on the camera, so I made the decision to kind of wait until today, wait until right now. I don't have negative days very often. I would say actually fairly rare, but that day was just something else. It was, yeah. So I drove it here, I checked all the fluids. I am now checking the computer. It is ready to go. So we are going to disconnect this, jump in, and actually go to DEQ. When I picked it up, it started on its own. It drove here all the way from Copart to my lot with no issues, no overheating, no nothing. There's absolutely no lights on the dash, so I figured it would be ready to go through emissions. And as you guys just saw, I checked and it is. I bought this thing super cheap, especially for what it is, especially in today's market. So it's a 2002. It has 146,000 miles on it. It does carry a salvage title. I will show you guys the damage very shortly. It's basically hail damage, but it cracked the windshield, and essentially that was it. But we'll do a full walk around once I take it through emissions and return to the lot. But I only paid 1,100 bucks for this thing, and it's an XLT. It has 4x4. It has the 6-cylinder motor. It has all power options. Even has leather with like fabric interior, which is also an option. The only option it doesn't have is a moonroof, but honestly, I don't know if they made moonroofs for 2002. The other thing I didn't check is if it has a tow package. If it does, then essentially this thing is fully loaded and it runs great. For 1,100 bucks, I will double, if not triple, my money on this one. So I'm going to take it to DEQ, through DEQ, take it through emissions, and then we will resume back at the lot. We'll do walk around.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Little Ford Escape pass with no issues. I got the green light, so technically I can sell it. But this thing is pretty darn filthy, so actually let's take a look inside. I heard something sliding. Maybe I need to unlock everything. Yeah, it's been sitting, especially in a Copart yard. It's not a paved place. Oh yeah, that's filthy in here. So it will clearly go through detail. We got some chains, which will go to the new owner. I'm afraid to look up under here because I could already see the gunk and just, yeah. But at least it runs well mechanically. So I mean, tires aren't too bad, but it almost seems like it could use new ones. I don't know. This is where I kind of go wishy-washy. Do I need new tires? Do I not need new tires? But let's see. Yeah, I mean, a super simple car will be a good daily for someone. I've sold so many of these. I think something like this I'll probably have to remove since, yeah, half of them are broken anyways. So I'll start working on removing those. See, that one's broken, that one's broken. The only one that's good, I think, is the driver one. Yeah, because the other one's also broken. But there it is, guys. Little Ford Escape. So from my understanding, this is the hail damage that they were talking about. So the roof kind of got beat up a little bit, but honestly it's not super noticeable. And then the other thing is we have a crack on the windshield, so I will get a new windshield for it. That will probably be in a few days. It's gonna go through detail, get a windshield, and I think that's gonna be it. I checked fluids when I picked it up. Oil was fresh. I mean, everything's good. You guys can't even hear it running. It runs so well. Goes through all the gears with no issues. This was a super cheap but super good purchase for me. Because I know, I mean, I do very well with Ford Escapes. I've had so many of them now. This one was almost a no-brainer. And for 1,100 bucks, like, I mean, even if I sell it for, well, I can't sell it for $2,000 because it needs a new windshield, and then it will need a detail, so that'll be, you know, $400 or $500 total for everything. So I'll be what, 1,600 bucks. So yeah, I should be able to double my money on it. But someone's gonna get a really nice Ford Escape that they could daily drive with 4x4. And it does have tow package. It's super small, but it's a small SUV. I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to park it until it goes into detail and until the windshield gets replaced, and we'll probably come back to it and kind of go from there.
Several days later.
The Ford Escape is done with detail, so I'm literally picking it up right now. And I'll have to stop by the lot. One, we need gas too. There's a few like paint stuff on the window. This car will get a new windshield installed, but only tomorrow. And I want to get it listed today. And if I get a buyer for it today, then they could come back tomorrow, get a new windshield. And essentially it'll be ready to go, but I just don't want to lose time because detailer took much longer than expected. So I feel like I'm already running behind on this project. This is what I use to get this paint off. And then literally, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, I just wipe it off. And then the car wash will take off the oily spray. And this is why I do it before the car wash. There we go. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to take a pause here. It's still dirty. Don't know when I'm gonna post this video, but today is actually Memorial Day. Thank you to everyone who has served for this great country at one point or another. I personally really appreciate it. And because it is Memorial Day, car washes are closed. So actually a lot of businesses are closed. So I wasn't able to get this thing cleaned up properly. I mean, interior's all detailed, so it's almost ready to go. I think I'll take you know, a picture kind of off in the distance so people get the general idea of the vehicle, and then take a whole bunch of interior pictures and get it listed. And then of course, once I get a buyer, you know, take it through the car wash tomorrow, whatnot, get the windshield replaced and get it sold. But just so that I don't really lose time, maybe I could get a buyer. And if I can, I would like that. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put the video on pause. And then we will resume with either a clean vehicle or a sold vehicle.
The next day.
Ooh, look at this thing. Good news is, guys, it cleans up real nice. Just took it through the car wash and look at that. It looks so much better now. Fernando is on his way to do the windshield. So you guys can see, basically goes all the way up right there. Now when there's good news, there's usually bad news. You know, you usually get like one or the other. What do you want to hear first, good news or bad news? So you guys just heard the good news. The bad news is, as I'm driving back from the car wash, the car starts to kind of hesitate and stutter, and the check engine light started to flash. So we are going to check codes, read codes, stored. If we have, okay, so nothing stored. Pending codes. Cylinder 1 misfire. Okay, exactly what I thought. Usually when the check engine light starts to flash under acceleration, means that there's a misfire, and it could be either coils or it could be spark plugs. The car did pass DEQ emissions essentially, so I don't think it's anything major. It still runs good and under hard acceleration. It's totally fine. So I just placed an order for new spark plugs. I will go ahead and replace those, and hopefully that was it. Simple. Spark plugs are not very expensive under my wholesale account. 6 spark plugs was like 12 bucks or something like that, or 11 something, but basically very inexpensive. So I'm going to go put my dealer tags on the vehicle because I'm going to take additional photos of it once it's done, and then I'll just wait for plugs and replace them, wait for Fernando to show up. He could do the windshield. I'm gonna go run some errands. I gotta process a title for a vehicle that I sold over the weekend.
Much later.
New plugs came in, so I am starting on spark plugs. Looks like we have 3 nuts to remove. One is missing, so I got one here and one here. I am not going to film this process, and I'm not going to do a video on it. There's plenty on YouTube, so if you are interested to see how spark plugs are replaced on the Ford Escape, find a YouTube video. Nearly done, starting to put things back together, but check these out. Like rust on them. These are old Motorcraft. I highly doubt that they are original, but dang, it was time to change the plugs.
1 week later.
It has been about a week now, and I am returning to the Ford Escape. So you guys saw me take it through DQ. It passed with no issues. And then, like I said, driving back from the car wash, it started to misfire. And you guys saw me replace, well, I didn't really film it, but I replaced 6 spark plugs, and I put 3 new ignition coils on the front right here because this boot was ripped. And what I did not mention is when I pulled the plugs out in the front, they were caked in oil. Rear ones were totally fine, everything was dry, like not a drop of oil, but front ones were pretty drained in oil. So looks like the front valve cover gasket is no good. So I bought new valve cover gasket set. It's with me, and unfortunately this video and this flip isn't going as planned. So today on my list I have to go through this whole, I guess, front end again. I'm gonna pull off the cover, pull the plugs out, pull the coils out, and then take off the valve cover, which is essentially this whole piece right here, and replace the gasket. And hopefully no more oil seeping into the engine, and hopefully it's gonna run strong again.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Not a super fun job, but honestly not too difficult either. So I'm gonna clean this up, clean up the valve cover, put in the new gaskets, and reassemble and hope for the best. Guys, it's purring again. So I'm gonna drive it a little bit, make sure it's still rock and rolling and no issues, but it sounds so much better. And that means I didn't goof up anywhere really bad. So I'm gonna let it warm up, let it kind of run, let the computer start doing its thing. And I'm gonna clean up all of this, and then I'll go on a quick drive. Alrighty guys, we are back in business. I think I can sell this thing now. There she is, guys. Not the flip I was hoping to get, not the amount of work I was hoping to do, but it is what it is, you know. Even sometimes after it passes emissions and everything seems like it's flowing very well, it doesn't. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your time. Please consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I'll see you guys in another video.